We're going to talk today about what's next for Web3 gaming. I think it's really starting to catch up now. I think people have really started to get it. And so Kieran's going to explain what his solution to this problem is. So please welcome to stage Kieran Warwick.
I actually don't know if that was a good choice to do. There was so much that went into that trailer. One of my co-founding brothers nearly died making that trailer. It was 60 days straight. I think they sat in a room. He came back looking like he was some kind of jungle man. He can attest to it over there. He was the one in the room with him. Say sorry to his wife. But yeah, that makes me really, really emotional. But this is a topic that I'm super, super excited to talk about. It's something I'm very, very passionate about. I've been in crypto for such a long time, and I really, really think that crypto gaming is going to be the thing that brings mainstream adoption. So how do we do it? Firstly, it's got to be free to play. It's got to be no barriers to entry. We've seen time and time again over the last 2-3 years that if you put $1,000, $2,000 NFT in front of someone and you have to buy that before you play the game, you might get crypto investors, but you're not going to get the mainstream. You're not going to get the people who play Fortnite. And so you need that risk-free gaming. You need no gas fees. thank you to Immutable X for creating what you did. And that's how you break down these barriers. Oh, cheers. Cheers. I better do that. I'm Australian after all. No shoeies, no shoeies. I literally will be killed if I do a shoey. So, how do we do it? Built in is a non-custodial wallet. So what that means is no talk of NFTs, no talk of crypto, no talk of Bitcoin, any of the lingo that all of us in this room love, none of that. You onboard the players because it's a fun game that they want to play. And then after a little while, once they've gone through the journey, they start collecting these alluvials, which are our creatures in our game. You give them a button that says, hey, by the way, you've actually been collecting these things and they're very, very valuable. You now press a button to seamlessly create a wallet, and all of a sudden, someone who had no idea that they were even playing a crypto game is onboarded into crypto. So that is absolutely critical. My CTO is somewhere in the room here, and he's like, why do you keep on adding things to the build? But it's critical, so we definitely need to do that. Another crazy thing that we did, and there's a bit of a pattern you'll see about Illuvium. It comes from the brothers. We're all a little bit crazy, and so we do things like, let's just give the power back to the community. And we said from the very beginning, actually before our TGE, before we even had a token, let's airdrop a pre-ILV token. Let's set up a decentralized governance structure where not so someone can come along and say, hey, let's not build Illuvium now. Let's go build a first-person shooter or, as my brother likes to joke, a dating simulator. It's more to keep us on the rails, and 100,000 people is way more powerful than our 200 core contributors. The amount of ideas that have come from the community is absolutely insane. So that governance structure, that power that we gave the community is what makes Illuvium so much different to any other game out there, and it's literally never been done before. We've got to start dispelling these myths. NFTs have had a bad rap for the past 4 or 5 years, and rightly so. The reason is there's been so many different scams, but now there are games out there. I don't even know what the game is called out there. The one where there's a dragon. What's going on there? Okay, TCG World, I'm gonna have to check that out, but that's what I'm saying. Real games are coming, and NFTs are soon to be not a scam. So I get it, but at the same time, just stick with it because this technology is going nowhere. The other thing that NFTs get a bad rap for is being non-sustainable, right? They're very, very bad for the environment, and that's why we chose Immutable X again, because they're 100% carbon neutral. I have friends in real life, friends, as we say, that come to me and they're like, oh, but you're doing a bad thing with this game. Not with Immutable. So again, solutions are being created to make sure that we can make these games because they're so much more powerful than traditional mainstream games. But the main thing is you've got to focus on fun. We didn't do it. For the last 3 years, we've been building games to try and make money. And that doesn't bring in gamers. Gamers don't care about money. They do not. They care about telling their mum a lie so they can sit at home and not go to school. That's what they care about because it's fun. It's not a job for them. And how do you do that? You make it immersive. You make it addictive. You make it replayable. And you have to appeal to the nostalgia of when we were young. What were the games that we were playing? How do we invoke that psychology of collecting like when you first played Pokemon? You have to focus on the fun. I cannot drive that point any harder. Giving power back to the players is something that we are obviously very, very strong about in Illuvium. We absolutely love doing that. And the blockchain gives players something that they've been wanting for decades. Verifiable ownership of assets. Do whatever you want with it, right? We've literally made a marketplace for people to do it. It's the most, if you told that to a mainstream developer, it is the most insane thing in the world. And we said, fuck it. Let's just do it. Let's just absolutely, in fact, we built our own marketplace for people to sell them on. You've got to also be able to build a game that's streamable and competitive. And so it's got like this esports scene is turning into something that it's 10 years ago, Aaron said to me, he goes, you watch, esports will become an Olympic sport one day. And I was like, dude, put the crack pipe down, please. Like, what are you talking about? Now I'm here and I'm seeing it, and we're so close to esports becoming the biggest thing in the world that we have to be making our games streamable and competitive. The other thing that we have up our sleeve is tokens. We have the ability to put on the largest prize pools of any game in history due to our ILV token. We've literally portioned off tokens to do this. So it's not something that I've been talking about this for if you're in the Discord, I talk about this all the time. This is a real thing. We are going to break records with this token, and we're going to give it to players. And if you think that's not going to bring in Dota players, TFT players, then something's wrong with you. I'm telling you, because they're going to go where the money is. I was debating whether or not I actually put this in, but I wanted to touch on it, right? So this verifiable ownership of assets. World of Warcraft is a really, really good example of people come to me and they say, no, but crypto's bad and crypto's for terrorism and crypto's, you know, you've got all the gambling and stuff on there. What do you think people have been doing in World of Warcraft? Humans are humans. If you say to them you can't do something, they will find a way around it. And so black markets get created. Web3 fixes those black markets. Our black market is the Illuvidex. It's not black, it is white. We want you to go on there. We encourage you to trade on there. And so really want to drive that home that Web2, they're driving this narrative that no, we need to keep all of these assets. We need to keep all of these tokens to us, all of this playership, all of everything. Nothing can be given to the players. We have to keep it all. And once people experience this, they're not going back. They are not going back. If you said to someone right now, go out and capture a Pikachu. We had people, Pokemon Go had people hanging off bridges because they wanted to get that Pokemon that was super, super rare, nearly dying to get that Pokemon, and yet they don't even own it. Think about if they did. It's going to change the world. I promise you that. You need sustainable tokenomics, though. We've seen it. I don't want to name any names of games that may have gone up and very, very much down. But if you focus on the money side of things, it's not stable. You cannot just have a game where people are extracting. It just cannot happen. In-game cosmetics are such a powerful thing. If you think Fortnite, that's how they do it. They say, play the game for free. We don't care. Go for it. Play it for free. They know you're going to get so addicted that you're going to put on a cowboy hat and run around that game, and that cowboy hat's going to cost you $20. Or it's an emote in TFT that is sticking his finger up. We actually have an emote in our game where Atlas is sticking his finger up saying, I just beat you. Someone is willing to pay for that, and the reason is because they love the game. Another thing, just before we get to this slide here, you have to, we put in deflationary aspects, not inflationary, deflationary. So a lot of games will have breeding. Now, breeding's fine, but after a while, there's going to be so many of the same character that they become valueless. There's no, it just keeps on going down and down and down. Aaron, our game designer, and my other brother, I've got 50 brothers apparently, and he said, let's fuck that. Let's not do breeding. Let's not do inflationary. How about we do deflationary? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, let's put in a system where if someone captures 3 alluvials of the same type, you can fuse them. Now, we also have sets in our game. Now, sets mean every single, I don't want to say a time frame here because I think a lot of you will hold me to it. And I'm looking at some of my guys around here who build these assets and they're like, it takes a long time. But every, let's call it, period of time, we are going to add a new set, and you'll never, ever, ever be able to capture that first one again. So not only are we burning NFTs, not breeding them, we're making new ones that you can never get unless you were here first. Gameplay loop. So I'm not a dev, right? I am not a dev, but I've now realized that the most important thing about building a good game is the loop. You have to have a good gameplay loop if you want a seamless player experience, if you want it to be unbroken, if you want people to sit there and play your game over and over and over again, you need a good gameplay loop. And Aaron designed, with our large game design team, an interoperable blockchain universe where we have 3 AAA games that are all interconnected. And this has never, ever been done in history. All of these games, Illuvium 0, that's our city builder game. Johnny over there is building it literally right now, okay? Then you go into that game, you get your resources. So you're playing it, it's its own genre of game. You're playing it, you get your resources, you get your fuel, then you go into the overworld. The overworld is where it's your creature capture, and that's where you get your alluvials. Now you need the fuel from Illuvium 0 to be able to do that. So you've gone from one genre to a new genre, and then where it gets super competitive about the esports that I was talking about, that is when you go into another genre, which is an auto battle genre. Now I've just touched on 3 genres that have literally billions of players playing them. Now imagine if you connected all of them together and underpinned it with a single token where every bit of revenue that comes out of all 3 of these games, and it's 3 now, I don't even want to say this, Aaron's got an idea to have 9 games, all interconnected, all using the same assets. If you think I'm crazy, he's even more crazy. So all of this is underpinned by ILV, and all of the revenues go back to the people who are staked in the protocol holding that token. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah. He's a freak. He's an absolute freak. It's a privilege to literally to have grown up with the 2 brothers that I have and the other brother, which we all know, but we don't talk about him. So the competitive advantage. We've got 3.5 billion gamers, and there's only 150 million people that are holding crypto. We need to get people to come into this space, and once they do, that's when we have the ability to start recommending different products, and that's when our partnerships will start happening. Where are these people going to bank? If you are sitting there and you're like, okay, wow, now I have a whole bunch of ILV that I've just won through this game that I didn't even know about, I'm now going to turn that into a wallet. Am I going to go buy Bitcoin with that? Am I going to go buy Ethereum with that? There's so many things that we can do from bringing just fun gaming into mainstream adoption. Brand partnerships is another thing that we absolutely need to do. So you look at League of Legends and Louis Vuitton. Think about how crazy that. When I found, I was like, what is that? A Louis Vuitton skin in League of Legends? That's the type of stuff that we need to be doing as Web3 brands. And imagine you're sitting there and you go to McDonald's and all of a sudden you open up your Happy Meal and you've got an Atlas in there. right? That's the type of cross integration that we need in order to be able to get mainstream adoption. So this new gaming genre, which is an amalgamation of almost any genre you can possibly think of, we are calling an interoperable blockchain game, an IBG. Not an RPG, an IBG. And I think this is something that is going to, it's not just us. Yes, we are the first to do this, but gamers are going to demand this type of stuff. Franchises won't go, it won't be Call of Duty 1, 2, 3. It won't be BioShock 1, 2, 3. They will literally start building games into their own universes, and that will create this one mega metaverse. And that's when gamers will demand this stuff. We will not go back. So what does it look like in the next 24 months? Multiple AAA games are being built. I literally had no clue. And I'm like, Grant, our art director, is the biggest stickler for graphics. He's the reason that our graphics look so good. I'm not even joking. If he saw this game, he would be like, fuck. Okay, so they are coming. So multiple AAA games are coming. And I'm so excited about that. We have in this room developers that have worked at Riot, Blizzard. We have artists who have worked at ILM. We have artists that have worked on Star Wars. We literally have people that are starting to adopt crypto who are smart as anything, much, 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 much smarter than me, and they're coming. And gamers, once you play this game, once the penny drops, and I'm not even joking, 2 weeks ago I played Overworld, and if you're in Discord, you see how crazy I went. It was maybe a little bit too crazy, and I don't think there ever is too crazy. But once the penny drops and you see how good it is to be able to go from one game to another game to another game, you will never go back to traditional gaming. I assure you of that. And then adoption will be realized. And that's it. Thank you very much for hearing me out.
Firstly, mate, it's fucking impressive. And you swore, so I'm
honestly, it's not. It's not me. It's my team.
Yeah,
it's the team we have are so elite, and it turns out when you give them a bunch of tokens, they kind of work harder. But it's the team.
Yeah, legit. I think before we open to the floor for questions, if you have any, let me know. I just think the way that you have employed that decentralized community input is just really good, and I think that it's going to be baked in moving forward. Like, you're going to have a lot of copiers, unfortunately, but thanks for leading the way.
It's good. We want that. That's what Web3 is all about. Open source. Like, we've had our tokenomics forked something the last time I checked like 35 times. Yeah. Now, do I care? No. I'm proud of that. I'm like, great. It means innovation.
Yeah, it's good. Any questions? Hands up. I'll try and run to you. It's like, I'm not very fit, but I'll try.
Kieran, hey mate. I'm actually speaking with you tomorrow on a panel, but I just love the sound of your voice. So, mate, quick question. From what you were describing just then, it sounds like it's going to be very much like Ready Player One, the movie. I don't know if anyone else has seen that, but how you were saying you sort of like jump interoperably between games, is that sort of like a good reference point for people to imagine?
It's funny you say that. So Andrew and I were just talking about that out at the booth. I think that's actually in that interview. So Ready Player One is very, very far off. This whole utopian idea of 55 different IPs across Web3 are all going to be interoperable. Will it happen eventually? Yes. But the best I think we can do now is within our own IP, within everyone, within all developers' IP, they can start using the blockchain to make it interoperable. But I think we're still a ways off from Ready Player One, and you know, I get hyped. If we were close, I would probably say it.
Hey, Kieran.
Hey.
I just wanted to say I had a look at the gameplay, and is there some sort of manual or some sort of easier way of understanding how to play?
So if you've ever played TFT, I'm a big fan of that. That's Teamfight Tactics. There are a whole bunch of companion apps that Mobalytics, Tacta, that have been made to basically help you build your team because it's super complex. Now, once again, craziness in TFT, the maximum in every set is 58, right? 58 different characters, which is very hard to balance. We decided to put in 185. So will there be companion apps? Yes, we're already talking to them. Our CTO, Johnny, is working through that. We're about to start opening up the APIs so we can let people start building this technology to help players, because trust me, I might say in the Discord that I'm really good at TFT, but I am like doing this every single time I play that game. So I'm with you, man. Trust me.
Hello. Are players able to buy certain land on Illuvium and perhaps build certain structures or whatever it may be, or like build certain games within the metaverse that you guys create, or?
Sort of two things there. So firstly, the land, yes, we have sold land. So Illuvium 0 requires land, but the paid version, there's a free version which is open to anyone. And so yes, in terms of are we going to open up our IP? It's something that we've discussed. It's not, so it's again, we're decentralized. We have a governance council. It would have to be an IIP that would go through, which is a proposal essentially. But it's something that we should definitely consider, you know, because we want to build out this universe as fast as possible. And if someone comes to us with a great game that using our IP, the only thing I would caveat that with is we try to go as next level as possible. So it would have to be a very, very good team to be able to do it. And to be honest, they would probably just do it themselves because we're that early.
Awesome, thank you. One more over here.
I hope I'm allowed to be drinking this beer.
Hi, Kieran.
Hey.
Big fan of the Illuvium team, not just for those who are here, but also all over the world. I know you've got a big team everywhere. You've got a couple of hundred people here. You've captured their attention. As community members, what can we do to help get Illuvium closer to that release date?
Stop saying when. No. You guys do. I mean, I love going into the community. It's something that I was very, very active and passionate about at the start. And most of you have probably seen, you know, there's a lot of familiar faces in here. And yet, all we ask is that you keep on coming up with ideas. They help us. They help us fine tune everything. And this is what I'm saying. It's not about the dating simulator, go and build that. It's about, hey, we might be able to have a little bit better balance, or maybe that character isn't quite right. And little things to keep us within the rails. That's what the community can do. And that's what the community has been doing. And I'll take this time to say we really, really value our community more than almost anything. Literally, it's motivated us. Yes, we're in a bear market right now, but we still have so many people that trust in us and go, doesn't matter about the token price. It's all about the game. So just stick with us is what I'd say.
I think just to add to that, if you're constantly paying people to play your game in the form of media and TV and trying to get them to do it, then people end up just not really being that loyal. But you've got like an owned and earned community. And
It's
I think,
huge.
you know, how do you get one player to make 10 new players? Yeah, you're onto something good there. I like it. I think we've got time for one more question here.
Hey, Kieran, thanks for that presentation. It's amazing. I think you guys are really on the forefront of mainstream adoption for Web3 in general, which is
Look at that. Just look at that. Sorry.
it's incredible. How do you plan on educating non-crypto native users who are coming into the ecosystem?
So again, we need to stop with the crypto lingo. So there's the way that I'm looking at it now, it's like an A/B funnel, right? You've got A right now as our primary. That's everyone sitting here. That's people who are believers. But the B section is someone who gets freaked. I mean, think about how daunting it was when you bought your first Ethereum, right? You're sitting there, you buy it, and you're like, "Oh my God, did I just lose that money? Did it go into the ether? I've lost." Like, you start calling people, like it's crazy. It's like, no, I mean, everyone's been down that path, so we need to take away all of the barriers to entry and make it just a game. Just download a game, and once you're in there, if you go through this funnel, you won't be hit with all of the lingo, all of the different, it'll be almost two UIs, basically. Like, that's where we need to get to. And when we do that, that's when someone goes, well, shit, I didn't even know this was a crypto game. Like, what? Like, you rugged me in a good way.
Thank you, Kieran. That was really good, really special.
Cool.
Everyone support your local Aussie. Get on. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.